Do you make art resolutions? Is that even a word? Did I just make that up? Okay, maybe art goals is more appropriate. Do you plan to focus on using a particular medium, learning to paint a subject better? Do you scope out classes that you want to take? Every once in a while, I look up art classes that are offered near me. The prices are reasonable. The drive isn't that bad, but every time I am unsure if I can dedicate the time on the days of the class. I feel like things in my personal and work life are just too hectic right now for that. Maybe once things slow down a bit. If you are one who makes art goals, how do you hold yourself accountable? Do you do a quarterly or maybe mid year review? Leave a comment below if you do something else. I'm curious to see how others hold themselves accountable for their art goals. My 2025 goals are written in my Hobonichi 5-year planner. I bought one for everyone in my family. When I started using the journal, I was accepting the fact that I don't have tons of time to spend on art. I plan to do a little bit of art in here each day. If time fell short, I would be grateful for whatever I was able to do and hope to finish the drawing that day the following year. This drawing on January 1st is a prime example. I didn't even have the skill set to execute my idea, but I started. So much has changed since then. I tried and tried to make this Hobonichi 5-year journal my one place for journaling and sketching. I didn't want to tug around a bunch of sketchbooks, different places. I also love to just journal about things that are separate from drawing and doing art. I didn't want to carry around a bunch of notebooks everywhere that I went. But I soon learned that this Tomo River paper is phenomenal for fountain pens. It's really good for pencil and ballpoint sketches too. And in my opinion, anything after that is sketching. Get it? Sketching? All right, all right. A prime example of this is this painting of Kyrie Irving. I never understood what it meant when others say their products were fighting with the paper until this painting. I bet I spent a month on this. I think the final product is attempt number 2. Attempt number 1 is below this. I felt the need to start over and use layers and layers of gesso to try to get the paper to act right with the acrylic. Frustrated, but I was too determined to give up. I'm pleased with the final product, but the process, I did not enjoy the process at all. This one was also a wrestling match with the paper. I used the cheap acrylic paint from Walmart, the kind that you get for like 99 cents in the craft aisle. I used that for the background. I think I struggled more with being patient enough to get a decent likeness, but I always run out of patience when it comes to the hair. However long it takes me to paint the entire picture, it would probably take me just as long to do the hair, just the hair, if I wanted it to be more accurate. And who has that kind of time? But back to the goals. Here's what I put for 2025. Let's see how I did with them. My first 2 goals were to learn to draw from 1 and 2-point perspectives. I'm not going to lie, I have not made any progress on my first 2 goals. I want to improve at drawing from various perspectives because I want to draw my childhood home. I have so many memories there. I want to draw all the rooms, the wallpaper on the walls, the stand where our first microwave was, the fireplace that my friends and I used as a background when we played Showtime at the Apollo, the piano in the living room, and I remember being utterly amazed when my granddaddy sat at it and played the boogie woogie. I want to draw all of these wonderful memories before they begin to fade. But when I draw them, I want to be able to do them justice. but I haven't made time to hone that skill. At this point, I will probably be best served by just jumping in and drawing them from memory with my current skill set. There is absolutely nothing stopping me from drawing them again in the future. Goal number 3, draw clouds. I think I have some attempts at drawing clouds in whatever sketchbook I was carrying a few years ago when my youngest was playing soccer. I have lots of photos in my phone of clouds, and I've daydreamed about drawing clouds as my kids played outside, but I have few attempts captured. Instead, I've stayed intimidated. I think I will carry this goal over to 2026. Who doesn't look at any painting by Kehinde Wiley and become inspired to draw botanicals? Using them as a backdrop, they add just a special touch to any painting. But first things first, one step at a time. While we all can aspire to this level, I need to start at the basics. There is room to grow, definitely. This goal will also be carried over. Continue to make progress on portraits. This was my comfort area for 2025. I love drawing portraits. It is what I drew the most. The artist Lawrence Savage gave me a piece of advice that made it to my goal list. He talked to me about allowing the background to help tell the story that accompanies the subject of the portrait. And although most of my portraits don't really have a background, I think about how I can incorporate more storytelling into my art. I've realized this is addressed in the planning stages of any art piece. And most of the time, I'm too excited to paint to stop and pre-plan my art. Other times, I know time is short and I jump right into drawing and painting. But for 2026, I want to slow down, do my painting so that my art can feel more like finished compositions. So it looks like most of my goals from 2025 will carry over to 2026. But there are a few more that I want to add to the list. My first new goal for 2026 is anything but portraits, at least 100 of them. Plants, animals, nature, the food I eat, the items in my house, I want to draw it all. While I absolutely love drawing portraits, I want to grow at drawing other parts of my everyday life as well. And my last new goal for 2026, no new sketchbooks. I'm the type of person that loves to go to the bookstore. And although I don't have much time to read, if I come across a good book and I feel I have time to read it someday, I'll buy it. It goes on the shelf and starts its endless journey of collecting dust. That's kind of how my love affair with sketchbooks is. I have a particular sketchbook I love, which I'll talk about more in another video, and I order it consistently, stocking up on it just in case one day at some point in the unforeseen future, the company goes out of business and I can no longer purchase it. Also, if I watch a YouTube video and the artist is using gouache, chances are I'm going to purchase whatever sketchbook they're using just to see how it compares to my favorite sketchbook. So that's a wrap. My art resolutions or art goals or whatever you want to call it for 2026. So what are yours? I'd love to hear about them. See you soon.